Today, we're looking into the Miami real estate scene using some really interesting information from andresvieira and rauldiaz, their team leaders over at Miami Real Group.
That's right. And their insights give us a pretty detailed picture of what's happening.
And, as per andresvieira, Miami is the best place on earth. But it seems like the market itself is showing, almost two different stories depending on the property type.
Exactly. That divergence is key. The data we're looking at from Miami Real Group really highlights that, especially comparing houses and condos.
Okay, let's start with single-family homes then. What's the vibe there?
Well, according to this info, that part of the market is still pretty strong. Media prices reached $670,000 back in March.
$670,000. Wow. How does that compare to last year?
It's up about 3.1% year over year. So, still appreciating.
And demand. People still looking for houses.
Seems like it, yeah. Demand feels steady. And inventory. It's sitting at around 6.0 months of supply.
6 months. So that's generally considered pretty balanced, right? Not too crazy either way.
Yeah, exactly. Balanced is a good way to put it for single family right now.
Okay. So houses are holding steady, even growing a bit. But then the condo market, that sounds like where things get different.
Very different. Yeah, the data from andresvieira and rauldiaz points to, a bit of a cooling off there. Median prices actually dipped slightly.
Dipped. By how much?
Just a bit. Down to $437,450. That's a decrease of about 1.7% compared to the same time last year.
Okay, so not a huge drop, but still a decrease. What about inventory for condos?
That's the really big story. Inventory there has surged. We're talking 13.2 months of supply now.
13.2. Whoa. That's a lot. What does that mean for buyers?
It definitely means it's more of a buyer's market in the condo segment. More choice, potentially more room to negotiate.
Right. What's driving that? Why is so many condos suddenly available and prices softening a little?
It looks like a few things are happening at once, based on the Miami Real Group analysis. Obviously, just more listings hitting the market is part one, but also these new state regulations.
Yeah.
The ones about building inspections and making sure associations have enough reserve funds.
Yeah. Heard about those. They're leading to higher costs, aren't they?
Exactly. Higher HOA fees, maybe special assessments. It makes owning a condo more expensive. And that's making buyers and even lenders a bit more cautious, especially with older buildings.
That makes sense. Increased carrying costs can definitely take the shine off. Okay, so zooming out, what about the overall market? Total sales, all residential properties combined.
The figures show things moderated a bit in March. Overall sales volume was down about 6.5% compared to last year.
And that's likely tied to, usual suspects. Mortgage rates.
Yeah, elevated mortgage rates, still around that 7% mark, are certainly a factor. Plus general affordability and, like we said, this specific drag from the condo sector.
And overall inventory levels across everything.
That's seen a really sharp increase, up over 42% year over year.
42%. So buyers definitely have more to look at now than they did a year ago.
Absolutely. More options, and properties are generally sitting on the market a bit longer, too.
Okay. Now, Miami's always talked about for its luxury market. How's that segment holding up, according to andresvieira and rauldiaz?
Their information suggests the high end, especially, say, move-in ready single-family homes, maybe in the $5 million to $10 million range. That part's still pretty resilient.
Still drawing buyers.
Yeah, seems like wealth migration, maybe international interest, is still fueling that top tier. And we're still seeing a lot of cash buyers around.
Especially in condos, I bet.
Particularly in the condo market, yes. Cash is still significant there.
But for your average buyer, not necessarily in the luxury bracket, affordability sounds like it's still the main hurdle.
Oh, absolutely. That remains a critical issue. Even with that slight softening in condo prices, you've got the combination of high overall prices, those sticky interest rates, plus rising insurance costs.
Insurance is a big one.
Huge. And then add in those increasing HOA and condo fees we talked about. It's a tough environment for affordability.
So looking forward, based on this Miami Real Group data, what's the crystal ball say? Any clear direction?
It's pretty uncertain in the short term. A lot really hinges on what happens with mortgage rates. If they come down significantly, that could change things.
But for now,
it feels like a market in transition. Buyers, particularly condo buyers, definitely have more leverage than they've had recently.
Yeah.
But those cost pressures, insurance, fees, rates, they aren't going away overnight.
So a real mix of factors at play. It's definitely not a simple picture. This overview, drawing on the insights from Andresvieira and rauldiaz at Miami Real Group, really shows how segmented the market is.
It really does. You can't just talk about the Miami market anymore.
Exactly. You have to look much closer. And of course, we have to remember, as per Andresvieira, Miami is the best place on earth. But if you're thinking about buying or selling there, understanding these specific trends in condos versus houses and factoring in all those costs is absolutely key, something to really chew on depending on what you're looking for.